Welcome to today's fantastic panel discussion, and I'm excited. Not only do I have the honour of facilitating a topic that is so close to my heart, but we are part of Harmony Fest. Oh my God, I can't believe it that Harmony Fest is here. A whole range of awesome people, awesome women are presenting their specialities, and with us today on our panel are a lot of these women who are presenting, who are part of Harmony Fest, and I just want to thank them. So before we introduce them, let's talk about today's topic. Like I said, it's close to my heart, and that is healing the spirit, holistic approaches to well-being, right? Holistic, which we'll get into why. And like I said, for me, it's something that I've been on a holistic journey for numerous years. As I was born with a genetic condition in this body, I've had over 30 operations. And when I was growing up, even into my very late teens, it was like surgery after surgery, drug after drug. My body has been bombarded with so much narcotics and chemicals that I was so glad that it told me no more. There has to be another way. And that guided me to a holistic path. So that's enough about me. Let's introduce our wonderful panelists who are with us to talk about this. So our beautiful Anne, can we start off with you? Please say hello. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what interests you in our topic today.
My name is Anne Barrett, and I have a business called Empowering Health. I'm based in the Blue Mountains in New South Wales, Australia, but I do work with clients online as well and remotely. And I specialize in actually combining a number of different modalities that I'm qualified in. And so I combine the most ancient of wisdom with the most modern in technology and help to bridge the between science with holistic practices as well, because a lot of people I find have a better understanding of the science. It's what we're brought up with a lot of the time, and yeah, they don't understand the other aspect, and so I'm able to bring those two together for them so that they can, well, by looking at someone holistically, we help to balance them on all levels, so mentally, emotionally, physically and spiritually. And I live and breathe this topic. That's what interests me. And this is why I was quite happy to join today, because I practice it myself every day. Like, all healing is self-healing. And I love learning more and reading more other people's insights. And I mean, we may talk about later is our own health journeys, but it's my own health journey and my own life that's led me to where I am and having this personal interest in holistic health.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Yes, I've had the honor of having a conversation with you about your health journey. So, and let's see if we can get into that today. If not, certainly another time more. Thank you for that. What about Sunny, or otherwise known as Pan Ming, or Pan Ming, otherwise known as Sunny? Thank you for joining us. Can I ask you to introduce yourself very quickly, and what interests you in this topic?
Well, I think the title, right? The spirit and the awareness. I really like the Harmony Fest focus on those two areas. I am a joyful riches movement maker. What the define for joyful riches is really to stay in that having state. So you don't need to want anything. You already got everything. And in order to get to that state is really the awareness manifestation. So if you that awareness is in a job, so you really reach that harmony states, then everything you do, you have this bliss, the joyful, and you can lose weight, you can become somebody different. That's what happened to me in 3 years. It's just totally different being. And I know there is way to do it. And particular focus on the money side, it's the same energy field. It's our subtle body. Right? It's just the quantum field. Just like in the end, talk about the science. I have a science background. I have a molecular biologist master's degree, but I came to United States. But everything I experienced in my life is to give me the idea the science is not in the right level. need to raise out to the content level. And so I combine them both. So now I see things, everything's a quantum field. It's a lot of fun if we know that is that. Money is energy, our health is energy. Energy is not just coming from ourselves, it's like connected. So I'm happy to be here and share some insight I learned from everybody here.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And totally agree. You know, finances is all part of being, all part of holistic well-being. You know, if our finances are in a healthy state, then I don't think our emotions would be in a truly healthy state. So thank you for sharing that. And our beautiful Janaki, who has her incredibly fascinating daughter with her. Thank you for joining us. Can we ask Janaki's daughter to say hello?
Do you choose to say hello, Ariana? She loves joining these.
Tell us, Janaki, a bit about yourself. And again, what interests you in healing the spirit?
Yes, yes, yes. Well, as you can see, first and foremost, I am a mother of 4 beautiful children, and I hold the codes of Divine Mother in my DNA. And I have had a beautiful journey since I was little of having so much spiritual wisdom, and I was raised in a yoga family. So I was fed a lot of consciousness unconsciously. So my journey has been from being up here in the clouds to rooting the spirituality into my physical being. And so I support others with turning their wounds into wisdom. I call myself an agent of change and an alchemist of well-being. So this is what interests me, because everything I finished a masterclass a few hours ago on being the alchemist and the journey of being the alchemist, turning all our perceived holy. Not sure how we are with the cursing, and turning all the poo holy, because we get to we're not here to rise above it. We're not here to wallow in it. We are here to alchemize it and move through it. And the holistic approach is on our body as a whole, the whole being, and embracing the wholeness and fullness of who we are, which is the journey of radical self-love. So I stand for the restoration of our innate power rooted in love and unity consciousness. I speak the language of love, and I am a quantum igniter, igniting our God spark in one's heart and supporting in divine remembrance, because that's all that matters, is coming into the truth and clearing that baggage, those old stories that you hold that bogs the lens. So we clear the lens so we can see our world, because everything is a matter of perception and all in the eyes of the beholder.
Okay. And it's so true. And yes, you can say, you know, your divine shit or whatever you want to call it. It's not a problem. And if we get shut down, but I don't think we will, because it is. It's like it's stuff that is not serving us. You know, we get rid of other that doesn't serve us. So it's all the other. It's the emotions and everything else and the beliefs that we need to get rid of. So thank you so much. And I'm really excited for you to join us. And yes, you ran a wonderful masterclass before, and we are honored to have you part of Harmony Fest as well. Thank you. And what about Jame? Thank you so much for joining us today, Jame. This is your first panel discussion. So would you like to tell us about you and what interests you in healing the spirit, holistic approaches to well-being?
Well, due to my own experiences dealing with the medical industry and not actually being not actually being able to help me, I took my health into my own hands and turned to holistic healing.
Yes.
And it helped me. So therefore, it was like my inspiration why I wanted to help other people. And I got into going to school and get my certifications in holistic medicine and whatnot. So that's kind of like my backstory of why I got into it. And I think it's awesome, you know, that we can heal ourselves through nature and not have to rely on the medical industry.
And thank you so much for sharing that. So now can we start, and I'd love to know, can we ask you, Anne, and then we'll go around, how do you define holistic well-being, and why is it important for our entire health, for our emotional health, our spiritual health, our physical health?
Well, I'm going to define it in the way that my foundations have been formed, and that is in the context of kinesiology, which looks at the Chinese theory of the 5 elements as well as the triad of health. And so we looked at it, I brought my picture, referencing the triangle of health. So we look at people holistically as like a whole being. So we don't separate the mind from nutrition, from physical pain. It's like looking at how one thing has impacted the other. So one side of our triangle is our mental, emotional, and spiritual. The other is physical and structural, and the other is biochemical, which then also relates to all the chemical reactions happening inside our body, nutrition we put in our bodies, the things that we're exposed to, and all those types of things. And sometimes, it's our spiritual aspects or our emotional aspects are impacted by maybe something that we might be deficient in, for example. And so the work that I do and the way that I look at work on myself holistically and others is to address all parts of the whole, because without doing that, I haven't personally had any results. Instead, this way we get to the underlying contributing factors to clear any energetic blocks and results in long-lasting change. So where in the past they might have to keep going back for different adjustments, keep going back for other information, try and experiment with different things, and all that takes money, it all takes time. And by looking at a person holistically, it's much more efficient and also cost effective as well.
It is totally, and I totally, and I agree with you. It's much more efficient. I've been talking to a few people who they have an array of medical conditions, but one doctor does this and one doctor does that and another doctor does this, and none of the doctors talk to each other. And they're on all sorts of medication that is affecting or reacting to other medications, but getting together to talk to it. So it totally makes sense. So thank you for that. And we'd like to welcome Dr. Simi, who's joining us, and hopefully your tech issues have been, let's see what happens. So Dr. Simi, welcome to today's panel discussion. Would you like to introduce yourself, and can I ask you to share a personal story of how you were able to transform through holistic practices? But you are muted.
Got it. Hopefully this is the end of the tech issues, right? I just want to start out by saying thank you for having me. This is truly an honor to really bring my work over the last 12 years to people who need it. So I am a family practice trained physician, and I left medicine way before COVID because I know there's a lot of docs leaving since COVID. But I left in 2013 because I personally didn't agree with how we practice medicine. I felt like I was just putting a Band-Aid on, which is okay because sometimes a Band-Aid is needed. Yet I knew that there was something much deeper that I can do to help. But the way I went about it is I left my practice of medicine and I went on a healing journey within. Little did I know that this process of how to heal the physical body through the power of the mind would actually come and find me. I didn't go looking for it. And I've been practicing mind-body medicine over the last 12 years now, and with phenomenal results, miracles, just simply miracles. And the healing is in the spirit, as the title says. And what do I mean by spirit? Well, we can look at spirit in many different ways. We can look at our soul as part of the spirit, or the big universe. We can call the spirit God, whatnot. I guess when I'm going to use the word spirit today, it would be like how spirited we are. Our open-heartedness is our spirit. And what I have noticed that when we have a broken heart, that's when we get sick. As soon as the heart heals, it is truly that simple, right? As soon as the heart heals, illness heals. And personal example, so the way this process found me was back in 2012, and I was as green as they get on the spiritual journey. And as soon as I started to do my work and created space within me, the download came. So I was taking this class with this 70-year-old gentleman who underwent a hernia repair surgery and was looking at his fourth surgery because that hernia repair wasn't healing. And he shared with me over email, because he was in Germany at the time, that he was estranged from his wife for the last 20 years and he had been married for 50 years. And they both lived in the same house like roommates. And that's when the knowledge came, the download came, that he needed to heal his relationship with his wife in order for the wound to heal. And when I shared that with him, he actually got quite angry with me. He said, my wife's not in this class that we're taking together. Leave her out of this. I said, listen, buddy, don't shoot the messenger. Do what you will with this information. I'm not responsible for anything else. Well, he decided to listen to me. And a couple days later, he emailed me back. He said, fine, I'm going to do what you're telling me to do. I'm going to just take a baby step, and I'm going to give my wife unconditional love. I'm like, that's a great baby step. I'm like, great, good, go for it, because we were learning about unconditional love in our class. And, he did. He showed her unconditional love. And within 2 days, he rekindled his relationship with his wife that had been broken for the past 20 years. And he healed his open surgical wound within 10 days. And doctors were saying it's a seroma. And as a healthcare practitioner, we know that seromas take anywhere from months to up to a year to heal. His wound healed within 10 days. And that's when I said, why don't we talk about this as doctors?
Yeah.
And here I am. Rest is history, I guess.
And thank you. Again, thank you so much for joining us. I said it is a real honor and such a story to share the power of the mind, and especially the power of love as well. When we can really forgive and accept people with that unconditional love, or have that unconditional love for people, amazing stuff happens, magic happens. So thank you for that. Thank you so much. Jame, can I ask you that question? Would you like to share a personal story of transformation through your holistic practices? What's happened in your life in a brief way?
Oh gosh, so many. I don't know which one to like to share. I would say, oh gosh, forgiveness. When I started to do like my shadow work and really going in to try to heal my past traumas, and one of them was abandonment issues from my parents. And learning to forgive them and get over, like, well, not get over that, but find forgiveness in my heart to forgive them and let go, and know that they too did the best that they could be based on their trauma that they had at the time or had during their life, right? So that's I think that's the biggest one, and actually letting go of that, I guess. Anger, hurt, sadness. It was a weight lifted off of me. They say, like, the expression, you don't forgive for them, you forgive for you. And it's like so true, because that weight really was lifted off of me once I forgave my parents for, how I felt, how they abandoned me.
Yes. And thank you for bringing that up, because that happens to so many people in a variety of ways, right? Like for me, if I can share, I was in hospital as a very, very, very young child, very young, like three years old, and for many hospital visits. And I cannot remember my father ever visiting me. So I knew, or I picked up, that there is abandonment issues around that, even though my father didn't actually abandon me, right? But because I can't remember as a child of him ever visiting, I thought as a young child that he did abandon me. So thank you for sharing your abandonment story, Jame, because it can happen to so many people in so many ways, especially as young children. So thank you for that. And Janaki, what about you? Do you have any stories of transformation that you've experienced through holistic practices?
One. Um, yes, I definitely agree with what Jamie was saying is the forgiveness is such a powerful, powerful tool, and letting yourself shift a perspective, see through another lens. Because as a child, say something happens, then we look through that lens and we see that one story play over and over, and then all these other scenarios creating the evidence of this one story playing over and over and over in our life until we can actually revise that story. And that has been my journey, and that's what I support others with. I recently got to witness one of the clients that I supported with doing a forgive and fully live. I call it a little bit of NLP with a whole lot of Janaki, because I bring my sound magic in. And we partner with the perceptual positions, which I call the Holy Trinity, and then do a sound of, instead of cord cutting, we do a soul emerging. And 2 days later, my friend messages me and she goes, "Oh my gosh, my lens has cleansed." She goes, "I have 3 new high playing clients, like all these things happening." She goes, "I'm seeing my world different." And then, like what you were saying, Dr. How do you pronounce your name? Oh,
Simi.
Simi. Okay, excellent. I love what you were saying, because that is so true. That's what I heard is it's all about our heart. Love is the key that unlocks the universe, you and I, in the verse of the song, where we belong. And love is what connects us all. Love is what opens the portals. And there's, I mean, I can go on and on about the power rooted in love. And this is why I stand, is our innate, the restoration of our innate power rooted in love. And I facilitate I Am journeys. So I got to experience a gentleman in 90 minutes. He stepped on a hole, like a rusty nail, his back was limping. And he said by the end of the 90 minutes, he was no longer limping and the hole in his foot was gone. He experienced complete cellular regeneration. And I'm like, what? How is this possible? And it's not necessarily us, it's being the conduit, being God's instrument, letting ourselves be fully connected to source, because we are all God, remembering God. We're all divine mirrors of each other. And so it's really beautiful. And this is what I see of real healing is, because the distorted lens that I used to see healing is, I'm going to fix you, I'm going to make you better. And then it's all in the matter of the perception. So if we're seeing someone as broken, we're continuing to create them as broken. So my new lens with healing is being the vibrational frequency of. And when you become the vibrational frequency of, it becomes the ripple effect, because the door of our temple opens in. So everything that we do in ripples into our outer world. And this is one of the things that I've mastered so much, is relationships in my life. And that's what I've received about relationships, is everything is about a relationship. Money is a relationship. The words we partner with are relationships, the meaning we put behind things, and the real that we are being, and the ship that we are occupying. We are all ships, and we're here to occupy our ships. And we do that by honoring the temple of our body through the altar of our heart, which is in our feeling world. And there's been so much distortion and judging our feelings and making them wrong, when actually we're meant to feel. And that's how we heal. That's my perspective.
And thank you. And it's so true. And it's so true. And I love how you share, how people can heal dramatically with holistic methods. And I've experienced that myself. I've felt my hip being glued back together and my knees being sewn together all through.
And what we do internally, like one time I had some pain in my body, and I believe I've shared this before, you've heard it, Sophia, where I was saying, rise above it, Janaki, you can rise above it. And I heard a loud voice say, stop rising above, stop trying to overcome and be with your pain. And tears started falling down. And all of a sudden I'm like, pain about what? And I'm like, oh, my dad not being present, my dad not being home. So immediately I started decreeing with deep feeling, I am home in my body, my dad's home. I am home in my body, my dad's home. 2 weeks later, my mom calls me with a miracle of my dad taking care of himself, which wasn't a thing that he typically would do, took himself to the dentist. He had all these health issues, went to the dentist and found out that this one infection in his tooth was causing all the rest of his health issues. They didn't know why he didn't die. And what I'm saying is what we do in ourself internally. And I've witnessed over and over.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you ever so much for sharing that. It's such a powerful, powerful message. Thank you for that. And Sunny, can I come to you with a different question and a different conversation, if I may, bringing in your scientific background and stuff and your whole, everything about you. I'd love to know how from your perspective, how does ancient wisdom and science, modern science, interact with holistic wellness?
Well, I think we are the right timing. We get the gap getting slow, smaller and smaller, because all the physicists just cannot believe it. They all become Buddhist because Buddhists tell us the truth. But that's just kind of joke. But I think a lot of people start to understand this ancient text, what that means. In the past, just different language. Translation maybe have some errors. But we always have this kind of, oh, it's their time. They're just talking about nonsense. They're like, this mystical being never exists. But now we know, well, really a lot of story in the Bible actually might happen, right? We don't know because we are not living in there. Or maybe we live there, I just don't remember it. But what I see is the modern technology is getting better. Because when I was a scientist, I'm 20th century molecular biologist. So everything's cloning in the DNA. I manipulate DNA. So I clone the gene and here I can see expression and all that. But they are like controlled. And then we call this 98% of the junk DNA still in our genome, like they're useless because they don't have protein. They don't have products coming from the 98% of a whole DNA we have. I don't believe that, right? And the nature never wastes their energy to create something useless if we trust our creator. So the 98% of that actually is operation system. It's totally energetic quantum field. And the higher it's involved being like we are, we have a more of the percentage of the junk DNA. Because what that happens is our facility is our miracle zone. So if you turn on, when you holistically align with the field, then your DNA behave differently because the frequency, because you hear different sound and you allow you to get out all this artificial sound, artificial light, you start to get all the energies from the source. Then you start to turn on differently. So you will have this like rarefied hormone or chemical. So that's how those people can get out of their body because they don't need a body. They are higher enough the frequency, they're just out of there and they come back. A lot of story in Chinese, they all have people sit there for 700 years and people try to wake him up. They come back and say, oh, what kind of, there's like 700 years passed, but they come back because they don't need their body the whole time. They just do something else. But I think we're getting closer and closer to try to understand what's that miracle. It's not miracle, it's who we are. We really have this ability. Everybody start to showing with more of ability because the vibration we go higher, just like 2000 some years ago. So I would say I was excited to see people start to fly around, and then also show up in 3 different places. Quantum jumping is all happening. So I'm so excited. I mean, this is going to be, we are witness a lot of miracles, but it's not a miracle. It's just human. So thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing. And I just want to say, and I want to go ditto to what Janaki's saying, that she's experiencing God bumps. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Naeem, too. Like Pingles, thank you for sharing that, Sunny. It was wonderful. And before we continue, just want to give a shout out to everyone who is watching us. We actually do have quite a few people watching us on today's panel. Please, if you have any comments or feedback, please put them in the comments. If you've got any questions for these amazing women, do put them in the comments. And whilst you're there, click on the links that our incredible VA is putting in and connect with these amazing women. They will have a world of wisdom and experience in how, holistic approaches, how we can experience well-being in a holistic way. So thank you ever so much for sharing that. And can I go back to you? And I'd love to know for you, especially in your field too, with your energy work as well, your frequency work, what are some effective ways that you've experienced that we can release emotions and blockages that, especially the blockages that are caused by suppressed emotions?
Well, yes, there's so many ways, and each way is different depending on the individual and what their journey in life has been, but not even in this life, but also in past lives or through the family tree. And because we can be programmed neurologically with even our family history of emotions. And so, like, for example, my parents had to escape Estonia during World War II, but while they were there, it's like they were having to live in a constant state of vigilance, and then they never actually had secure roots until they arrived in Australia and met and built found a place to live. But that programming was still within them, and then when they conceived me, I was essentially born with the same neurology of being in this constant state of vigilance and without knowing. So I was unconscious in that sense. And so through work and with kinesiology, particularly Chinese theories, the theory is that emotions get assigned to different organs, and then that's where the body's constantly trying to heal suppressed emotions. If one emotion is left underneath and suppressed, then another one over the years comes on top of that, another one on top of that, another one on top of that. And then we forget consciously of what's actually under there if we haven't dealt with it. But then the subconscious mind, because your body's trying to constantly heal you, it's trying to heal those emotions as well. And by bringing conscious awareness to those emotions that have been stressed is what helps to shift the energy of those suppressed emotions back out of the body. And within kinesiology context, we reference the 5-element theory, which is yin and yang expanded in more detail. But within each element, we have the meridians, the same ones that an acupuncturist uses with their needles. There's emotions that get assigned to different organs. And so through muscle testing is what I use with clients, is a way of helping to identify what's relevant for them. And so bring that to their conscious awareness to shift that block of energy out of their body. Because emotions are energy in motion, in a sense. And so often people are unaware of emotions, even if because we also have those amygdala emotions, those primitive fight-flight response emotions, and a lot of people aren't aware of them because that's in their programming, and it's just they respond a particular way, and then their conscious mind kicks in, and then they respond a different way. But it's those emotions helping someone identify what they are, and then working through them. And that could be like the ways to work with it by yourself at home without a practitioner is through journaling, for example. Like I find once you start the flow, getting it out of the head, like anything that's coming up for you, you might not know the underlying emotion at the time, but just start the energetic flow of getting things out of your mind onto a piece of paper, making it external. And then as you work through that, whatever's frustrating you or angering you or upsetting you, then it's like, well, how's that a problem? And then what's under that? Like, well, how's it making me feel? And what's under that? And then how is that making me feel? And how is that a problem? And just working through the layers helps us to get to then the underlying contributing emotion. And then how can I choose to change that now? Through forgiveness, for example.
Yes, and it's true, isn't it? I mean, it just the plain, we talk about forgiveness, and in one way it's simple, but it's so deep. Some amazing healing can happen when we're able to forgive ourselves, let alone other people. They call it, spontaneous healings just by forgiving. So thank you for sharing that, Anne. It's incredible. And Jame, can we go back to you? And I'd love to know from your experience, what are some common misconceptions that you've heard about holistic healthcare? I mean, why doesn't the world in general grasp the idea of holistic healthcare?
My opinion, I think we've been programmed to believe that modern medicine, the giving pills for just the symptoms instead of actually getting to the root cause, the root problem. That's my opinion. And so I feel like holistic medicine is like, they used it centuries ago. That was what was prevalent in that era. It wasn't the modern medicine, like they modernized it throughout history. And it's more about profit. How we can keep you sick and maintain that profit instead of actually healing you, getting to the root cause. I think, we've become a society where we value money over actually helping someone. And we've lost that integrity. It's all about like, I'll do this, I'll do this before, or I'll put money before actually helping and healing someone.
Okay, thank you. And what about you, Dr. Simi? Do you have anything else that you'd like to add to Jame? Because I actually agree with you. But what about you? I mean, you're balancing being a medical doctor and being in the holistic area. So what are some misconceptions that you experience from either other medical practitioners or even patients? You are muted again.
Thank you again. One of the most common things I saw when I worked in the conventional medicine arena, so to speak, was that people tend to put the power of healing in the doctor's hands. They put them on a pedestal. I can't tell you how many times when I was working as an urgent care provider, people came in and say, and all they had was a cold, and they would tap on their watch. I gotta go. I don't have time for this. I'm traveling. I'm like, what do you expect me to do? You can't even give them antibiotics for a viral infection because the body has to run its course. We have gone away from tuning into ourselves. And I know we talk about Western medicine, but if you really look at the roots of Western medicine, let's look at Hippocrates, who was the father of Western medicine. And he said, it's not so important to know what kind of a disease a person has, but rather to know what kind of a person, what kind of a person is the person, like what is their personality for them to have the disease. So he said that, yet nobody follows it, right? Because it has been taken over. Our medical system has been hijacked. And I think we all know that here. And we're so quick to just prescribe that antibiotic or that pharmaceutical when healing is multidimensional, just like we are, because we are multidimensional beings. And actually, when you asked Sunny that question, I had a research that came to mind that military did. What they did was they took a woman and they took her DNA and put it in a test tube. Then they began to manipulate the DNA through sound, different kinds of sounds. And what they noticed was when the DNA in the woman shifted, the DNA in the test tube shifted as well. There was no lag time. And they carried out this research up to 50 miles away. So, and still there was no lag time. So the conclusion they came up with was a quantum. So this is quantum physics, right? As Einstein said, this is not woo-woo, this is physics. And what they notice is something called the entanglement principle. meaning the DNA shifts simultaneously. There is no lag time. So when you shift one, the other shifts. Now, if we take that principle and apply it to medicine and apply it to all the diseases that are supposedly genetically inherited, it's because the trauma that's endured by our ancestors is carried in our DNA. And we can choose in this moment to stop the passing of that trauma and heal it through feeling our emotions. And it's truly, and in my 12 years, the one modality I've used to help people heal their emotions is simply feel them. That's all I've used. And I've had 100% success rate in people who are willing to feel their emotions, period. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about that. And I'm bold enough to say that. And I wasn't so bold, but except I heard Abraham Hicks, who talk about manifestation, they said it too. I'm like, okay, now I have the permission to say that because I didn't want to sound, narcissistic. I'm like, am I like losing my mind if I say that? But once they said it, it is truly, there is really no other way around. If you can simply, and if you look at every religion, every ancient culture, every population, every country, one thing they all talk about is the present moment. And what do they mean by the present moment? Simply being present to your emotions in the moment, period. So if we can just learn that, if nothing else, that's where our health is, because what happens is when we can be in the present moment, see, we have the amygdala and the hippocampus, the two areas in our brain that are responsible for memories. When we can be in the present moment, they somehow work it out to release the trauma. All you have to do is be present. And this has now been proven by research.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that. And ditto to Janaki, absolutely. Thank you. And Sonia, who's saying we are a powerful team, let's change the world. Ditto to that as well, absolutely. So let's continue on that conversation with what Dr. Simi has just shared. And Janaki, can we continue with you? Like if you've got someone who is not in touch with their emotions, they're not present, they're all over the place, especially in this world where, just about every person that I talk to in the community, a lot of people is, I don't have the time, I'm too busy, I've got to do this and this and this and this and this and this and this. So we've gone way away from being a human being and we've become human doings. So we're no longer present in our emotions. What are some practical examples, some practical tips that you can share on how people can get back?
Yes.
Getting
Well, one of the things I recently, a few months ago, I was in a breathwork session, and all of a sudden I heard my true self come through and say, stop trying to do it all. Stop taking life so seriously. You're here to have fun. Stop trying to do it all. Allow us to support you. By you trying to do it all, you think you are alone, and that is not true. We're all one. You're not a human doing, you are a human being. You are here to be, and all you require to do is serve the temple of your body and connect to the altar of your heart. I was like, wow, it's that simple. And then recently, what I received is I received this novel of a transmission that came through me. It all started by questions, and my fingers just went. I say source codes flew through me, answering all questions I've had, answering them, and that like one of the ways is. One of the things I received is you human beings try to make things so complicated, and yet all you require to do is walk in all worlds, dance through all worlds, and shine your light. It's that simple. And yet we like to complicate things and do that. So some of the tools that support is, first of all, one of the things I have done, because this was something has been my journey, because I was the busy bee Janaki, and it was my husband who planted the seed. He said, you're most powerful in your being self rather than your doing self, because my belief and what I see is people become busy because they are avoiding their emotions. And recently, what I heard in our last I Am journey, we did I Am the Eye of the Storm, where we got to merge polarities and embrace the storm and be the calm within the perception of chaos, is stop avoiding the things and go into the void. Go into the darkness. Go with things we hide. Those are our greatest gifts. And that's what I've been receiving. And so, first of all, acknowledging. I love what Dr. Simi was saying, because it's so true. And I love witnessing from a doctor's standpoint. I'm like, oh my God, yes. Because half the time I say make shit up and I don't know what I'm doing, although Source in me does. And I show up as a conduit and God's instrument and let be miracle. That's what we are. We are all miracles, remembering miracles, and we get to experience what we are. And so, yeah, acknowledging is the first step, and be honest with yourself. What am I actually feeling? I mean, there's sometimes where I'm feeling something and I go, I fucking hate what I feel right now. Like, let myself be honest, because I had this spiritual bypass, like, it's okay, everything happens for a reason. Yes, and if that's not what your feeling world is, meet you where your feeling world is at. And when you can meet where your feeling world is at, then you could build from there. Then you go, is God experiencing this? Is the universe experiencing this? No. And then that's where I call upon my God support, my angels. I said, legions upon legions of angels, help me stay love. Because love, one drop of love, one mustard seed of love transcends the illusion. And that's all it takes. And it's loving what we've yet to love. That's where I've experienced the most gold in my life, is I hate what I'm feeling. Like being able to love myself as imperfect instead of striving for perfection, and being able to love those perceived imperfect pieces. It's so liberating. So,
And I love that. I love that, basically giving yourself permission to
yes,
not like what you're feeling.
yes. And it's okay to not be okay.
It's
It's okay to not be okay
Yes,
in that moment.
yes. I'm saying that everything is okay at the moment, but I hate what I'm feeling.
Yes, yes. I mean, I've watched myself through moments where I felt my world was crashing down, I was crying, and then within less than 10 minutes, I was laughing at the illusion, and I was like, okay, this is funny. And laughter is one of the fastest ways we move through consciousness. And in that moment, I had to meet myself where I was so I could build from there. And then that's where the miracles are, is when we no longer resist against our own resistance. So, yes.
Thank you. All right, thank you. And there's so many tips. I'm going to have to re-watch this. And for everyone else who is watching, and we've still got quite a few people watching, I hope you're taking notes. This is incredible. Thank you so much for that, Janaki. And what about you, Sunny? What do you say? How can people really who are totally cut off from their emotions, they're not feeling their emotions, what tips or techniques do you have for them to start
Well,
in contact?
I can definitely see me, because I'm into human design chart, so I know I'm avoiding my emotion because it's just too much weight for me to experience others people's emotions. But I think right now I realize I become a master about other people's emotions. So what I learned is I actually can connect with my brain and my heart, the heart-brain coherence. Because in order to really feel things, you need to be using your body. But use the mind, like I used to be shut it on, I want to avoid it. I don't want any drama. That is the problem maker. But once I infuse my heart, I will feel this release. So that's very simple. If you're interested, go to the heartmath.org. It's 3 steps. 1 step is just pay attention to your heart, so you can touch it, you can think about it, and then you slow down your breathing, like 3-4 times. Then you feel you're in a rhythm, because our body is off the rhythm. That's how the disharmony coming from. We need to breathe with the rhythm. Then you think about something good, maybe in the childhood, something, the flavored ice cream you always love, or some grandparents cooking flavor, just kind of get into that feeling stage. Then you feel calm, right? So now you become more relaxed, then you become more of the grounded to visit that emotion you try to avoid, because it's always have something we need to face. I'm also into the gene keys. Gene keys is really the shadow work. Goes through the 12 spheres, you can see your shadow work, but you can flip it to the city, which is the light. That's totally up to you. Like me, I can be agitated, angry, that. But that's also the same energy I can become awakening. So I just need to shift it and see my chart. I come and I was like, all right, I know I'm agitated, but I can experience differently. It's just a reflection. It's like switch. Once you know you can have the power, then it become more fun. Just like Janaki said, 10 minutes you can be laughing and crying because that's just the switch. That's the experience. So the heart brain coherence is really easy. Less than 2 minutes, everybody can do.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that, and especially in today's world, less than 2 minutes is such a valuable tool, and hopefully maybe we get to experience that before we finish. But if we don't, for everyone who's watching, reach out to Sunny. Click on the links below this conversation and book even if it's just a conversation, schedule a conversation with Sunny. Get to know about your human design if you don't already, and your gene keys. Thoroughly recommend it. It is very, very valuable. Thank you, Sunny. Thank you for sharing. And then as we wrap up our wonderful panel, an hour has almost gone by when we've got some wonderful women here. Let's go back to you. And is there anything else that you would like to share? Any advice, any tips for someone who is either like they're not in touch with their emotions, or they're just starting, they're beginning their journey into holistic well-being? They want to get off the conventional way and really go into the holistic way. Is there any advice that you'd like to give? And while you're at it, if you've got any programs that you would like to share, please do so now.
My advice is to try. Like, you don't know what you don't know. And the only way you're going to know is to learn. And because there's so many different modalities out there, there's so many different practices out there. And what resonates with one person doesn't resonate with another. But over time, as you grow energetically as well, different things will come into your awareness as well. So it's like, just be open, be the adventurer, be the explorer, and take personal responsibility, because nobody else is going to fix you. Nobody else is going to help you to heal, essentially. I mean, it's about their educating you and being the conduit for your own guides, and even for your own intuition. The work that I do is like tapping into the individual's own intuition, what it is that their body wants, but they haven't been consciously aware of it. And as Sunny spoke of, that heart-brain coherence is very important in order to get us into that resonance, to be able to listen. Because when we're in that state of stress, our subconscious mind is actually looking at all external sources and being then influenced, and you can't even tap into what our soul self and our heart self wants. So we do that with that heart-brain coherence. I have written a actual guided meditation practice for that, because I recommend it to all my clients. And so that's on my YouTube page. So if you go to YouTube and just search for the @ symbol empowering health, you'll see all my guided meditations in there. I create new ones every week just as a way of supporting people with their well-being. But in that sense, it's like when you're starting out, it's do make the time, do look, read, listen to podcasts. There's so much information out there. It can be overwhelming as well, but just do one thing at a time. Just try one, learn from one person at a time, and then that will spark your interest into something else. Just be that explorer and keep trying, and you'll find the right things for you. You'll keep healing, you'll keep growing in that process as well.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. And again, for everyone who's listening, click on the links below. Check out Anne's links. Go to her website, and there's so much valuable resources there, and website, YouTube channel, both. There's so many valuable resources, so do take advantage of that. Thank you so much, Anne. Appreciate it. Jame, what about you? Do you have any final tips that you may have even experienced in your life for someone who's really wanting to begin their journey into holistic well-being?
Oh gosh. I would definitely say, find somebody credible who knows what they're talking about. I see a lot of misinformation out there. It seems like everybody's an expert now when it comes to holistic health. So definitely that. I was lucky enough to already know people and have them in my life so that they were there to mentor me and guide me through my journey when I first started. So I know a lot of people aren't fortunate enough to have people like that. But I would say definitely, do your due diligence and research, and maybe even take some classes. There's a lot of people or a lot of resources to take classes online for free if financially you can't afford it. And that would be my suggestion, my opinion.
Thank you. Thank you. And is there anything that you would like to offer? Do you have any programs or anything that is coming up?
Right now I'm offering 5 Thrive for 3 trauma, if I can speak, on my website. So you get 5 sessions for free with me. That's a fall promo that I'm running right now.
Okay, good. Again, click on the links below and reach out to Jame. Wonderful woman to have a conversation with. Totally recommend it.
Thank you.
And Dr. Simi, is there any other tips or techniques that you would recommend for someone, like if someone came to see you and they're just beginning their holistic journey, what would you recommend them to do?
First of all, I have one of the easiest ways to tune into your emotions is think of a situation that really irritated you. Maybe somebody cut in front of you, something that angered you, because that anger is a gateway into the subconscious mind. The other way is sometimes, no matter how deeply aware we are of our emotions, we all have blind spots. So the way to work together is with a team. And that's what actually, those are the trainings that I'm offering. So the way you can access them through, it's drsimissays.com. That's drsimissays.com. And these trainings are donation based. And if you're really interested, want to get jumpstart on the journey, I've authored a book called Raising the Inner Child, and it's discovering your unique path to healing. And this is such important work that not only do you heal from just feeling your emotions, but you heal humanity. It's the way that we're in, and if we can all just take part in it, it'll be easier on all of us, because otherwise those people who are not doing their work or don't know how to do the work, actually those of us who are doing the work do have to bear the burden until those who are not involved in the moment learn from it and can jump on the wave with us. So my suggestion would be to feel that anger and just allow yourself to feel it. If you can simply be present to it, you'll notice it'll dissipate sooner than later.
Thank you. And so true. Just giving ourselves permission to feel. We all think, well, when I say we all, we grow up in a world where we're not allowed to feel in general. It's a generalization. Or I don't have time, I'll feel that later. I just know it's being present to it now. And we all do it. Everyone experiences it. It's just like we all do. We all go to the bathroom. It's nothing unusual. We all have the emotions. So give ourselves permission to feel them and that spot and get in touch with it. So thank you for that. Anything else that you would like to mention? Any other offer?
I also offer the inner child work. It's a 3-week class where I teach you how to tune into that emotional body, and then how to integrate that inner child. And finally, in week 3, what are some of the challenges? Because I've been doing the inner child work for 12 years now, and I am well aware of the challenges that we come across. So it is my intention to build a community that is based on self-love, and hopefully those communities can then be translated from virtual to physical someday. That's just my vision of how, how we can form communities, because without this inner work, there is no community.
Yeah, so true.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for that. And Janaki, what about you? Tell us, do you have any final tips or techniques for people who really want to begin their holistic journey? And what are you offering at the moment?
Yes. One time I heard another gentleman say that healing is like having different tools. You don't take a hammer into a shower. So definitely discover what works with you in the moment and honoring your body, and start with those little tiny whispers, like something. Really connect with your whispers of your heart. When you tune in, tap in, you will be guided. So start trusting the process, trusting your heart, trusting that you are divinely guided. There's no right or wrong decision. That's false dichotomy. It's made up. It's all about a choice and making whatever decision, being in alignment. And so, and then also connecting with your breath. That's a very simple technique. Slow down, connect with your breath. Just take one deep breath. Exhales your body's natural tranquilizer. You don't have to do any fancy breathing techniques. And connect with your senses. Connect with your senses brings you into the present moment of, what am I feeling right now? What am I sensing? What are letting yourself become aware of the present moment will bring you into the present moment. So I have a few offers. So speaking of forgiveness, I am partnering with a gentleman that does sovereign mind method, connecting with the senses and getting to the root cause issues. And we're doing a Forgive and Fully Live. It's going to be in person in Austin and virtual experience, and that's October 3rd. I also have a mastermind I am launching. It's the Divine Mirror Mastermind of I Am Perfect, where we get to embrace the imperfections and love all the messiness, all these perceived pieces, because all those things those messy pieces, those imperfect pieces, that's what brings us back into wholeness. It's the journey of radical self-love, loving your whole self, and witnessing yourself through others. Something like Dr. Simi said, again, where being in community, simply witnessing that you're not alone, we're all one. So it is help being in community and letting yourself be heard, letting yourself be seen, and witnessing yourself through others. So I have that Divine Mirror Mastermind. And then my next I Am Journey is October 18th. That is I Am a Witch, Wild Inner Tender Child, where you get to connect with our wild inner child inside the magic of our inner child. And then I have a retreat in Bali, a women's retreat, a Sounds of Soul retreat, where it's a 7-day experience where we get to marry ourselves. In short, every day we celebrate and elevate all seasons, all stages of our life, celebrating our death part of ourselves, our birth, our every part of life through sisterhood and community. So that's coming up in November.
And thank you so much there for Janaki, and it's totally true. And again, for everyone who is watching, do click on those links, because Janaki is an amazing woman, and everything that she offers, you won't regret it. Definitely do that. And we will come back to Janaki, but I just want to go to Payme as our last beautiful speaker before we wrap up. So Sunny, Payme, tell us, do you have any final tips or techniques and any final offers?
Well, I just remember I say that to myself every day I wake up. The first thing I say, I am a miracle. Think about, open your eyes every morning is not easy. And we didn't do anything. Our body do everything. We just have some fun when we sleep, right? But so remember that, say, I'm a miracle, regardless you feel something. But when you say that, you declare you are a miracle, you will have a miracle day. You'll have a day with a lot of miracles. The things I want to say, if you're interested in learn more of the science of spirituality, I offer weekly masterclass in Zoom, and I think in my link, has something you can get to it. If you don't know how to sign up, let me know. I can send you the invites. Every week, Wednesday, we have a different topic. The second week to the fourth, so it's 3 times a month. And I just want people to know, you are a miracle. You are the master. You can reset your money story, your physical story, your older story once you know how to tap into your quantum field. And you have so many different tools you can use. It's limitless because we are limitless once we know how to tap into it. So welcome to check on the website. I offer the free mini reading too, the human design Jinky, if you're curious about what does the esoteric tools. And I love to talk to you because you are a miracle. I like to talk to miracle.
Thank you so much for that, Sunny. And again, you are a miracle. You are a walking, talking example of what it's like, what life can be like when you believe that you are a miracle. So thank you so much for joining us, and thank you everyone for joining us, and for everyone who's listening. I'd love to continue, but we do have to wrap it up because we've got so much more coming in Harmony Fest in not too long to go. We have our beautiful tribe host, Julie Nelson, who's coming to talk to us, to present her thing on cosmic alchemy. There's so much coming up. But while we're at it, again, click on the links below, reach out to these wonderful women, connect with them, and you never know what you're going to experience. And join Sacred You just for $1. We're offering a great special. Come and join us for $1. And for that, you get 2 weeks to try out all our tribes, which includes Janaki's. We haven't even gone into that Sounds of the Soul tribe. Janaki, do you want to just tell us in 3 words what's the Sound of the Soul tribe like?
A musical sound journey.
It is
Yes,
true.
deep within your soul, uncovered. Yes.
I love it. It's incredible. Every week you get a sound healing online for being a member, and that is like the cost of the membership is so much cheaper than what you do for a sound healing online. So do come and join us. For $1, you get to join out all our tribes, Janaki Sounds of the Soul, plus all our other ones. We've got Bewitching Tribe, we've got empowerment tribes, we've got all sorts of stuff right now. I can't think of it. Click on the link below. For 2 weeks, and then after that, we're offering a 50% special on your membership for the lifetime that you're with us. Not a week or a month or a year, lifetime, 50% special. Not going to be for long, so come and join us now. And I'm getting tongue-tied because I have been awake since 2 o'clock this morning. So we're going to say farewell. Thank you, everyone, for joining us outside. Thank you to all our incredible VAs who's helped us. And thank you, everyone, for on today's panel. Like I said, it has been a real honor. And I look forward to seeing you very, very soon.